the 7 Hertz X Crinacle Divine. Let's talk about it. Now, this is a planar driver that costs around $150. This is the twin of an IEM called the 7 Hertz Crinacle Diablo. They were released at the same time. I do not have a unit of the Diablo, and I only have the Divine. The Divine was sent out to me by Linsol. Let's start by looking at the build quality of this IEM. The shell of this IEM is nice. It is vented, it fits in ear well, and it isolates extremely well, which is an important quality for me. It holds on to ear tips well. It is a big fingerprint magnet, but overall it is a nice looking IEM shell. It's comfortable. It's a flat 2-pin cable connector, and it's easy to switch out that cable as needed for whatever reason you need to. I like the shell. I think it's great, and I have no fault with this shell, and it's a good one. As far as the cable goes, I think it's okay. It only comes in 3.5, but the IEM is not hard to drive. The cable itself is a little bit stiff and memory prone. You do have a functioning chin slider, a wide split here, that's nice. You do have stereo indication on the ends here with the little R for right and a little L for left. I mean, it's a nice cable. It is chonky though, but there's no real fault to it other than that. The tips are fine, pretty standard from what you get from a normal 7 Hertz IEM, and the case is pretty awesome. The Dioko case, the kind of original planar IEM that Crinacle did with 7 Hertz, had a really nice case, and so does this. The case also kind of functions as the packaging, and so it's not a whole lot of room other than the case for this. So, how does this IEM sound? It's interesting. This is a planar IEM that I feel there's been a lot of technical elements that shifted slightly to this IEM. Most planar IEMs have a certain tonality. They have kind of a little bit of excessive 2K and a little bit of excessive 4K, and they kind of get what I call the peaky cat ear style upper mids. And they're pretty much all the same. A lot of them use the same driver. There's been a new driver that's been put into some new IEMs, and then slight dampening and slight changes to them, but most of them have a similar driver despite having a few things that are better. I do feel that the tuning of this driver is very nice, and we're going to talk a little bit about drivers, a lot about IEMs today. But this is a great IEM. Its bass is actually really nice. I had low expectations of this IEM. I thought it was going to be a little bit pillowy, but it has really nice, thick, rich bass and kind of a nice V-shaped tonality. If you think the Divine is lean, you are wrong. It is an appropriate amount of bass for most users. Some people might find it to be too much, but I find it to be a little bit on the fun side and appropriate for an IEM setting. And so this is an interesting IEM. Planar drivers do things well, like they're very fast, they're very quick, they have good treble, they have good technicalities, and this IEM does all those things exceedingly well. Let's look at some graphs, do some graph comparisons, and before that, let's actually look at a few things as well. Okay, this 7 Hertz X Crinacle Divine, let's look at the graph. Now you'll see this is normalized around 700. And so it does have a nice amount of bass, like it has a nice amount of bass, a little bit of upper mids. I never found it to be shouty or too bright. I found it to be nice where it needs to be. Again, fit and comfort of this IEM are really good if that's a concern. And so that kind of helps with this IEM and kind of helps with the flow and just kind of the majesticness about it. Its treble is not too overextended, and it doesn't feel like it has too many peaks. There is a little bit to the sound of this IEM, like it does feel like a little bit sparkly, a little bit light, a little bit airy, but we're talking very little bits. It has a nice overall timbre and a nice overall tonality to it, and it's a good IEM. Now, I wanted to show this compared to their last collab, the Dioko. Now, the Dioko holds a special place in my heart. Is what was one of my first IEMs that I ever got, and it kind of helped introduce me to the space, but quickly I realized that this amount of treble up here was too much for me. It didn't have enough bass to kind of even it out. And to me, I think the Dioko is okay. And for me and for my preferences, it's just okay. It's not great. It has a lot of exaggerated upper treble. And I really find that the Crinacle X Divine really does a really good job of having better bass, better mids, better treble, and to me is a much better IEM. And I want to say it's what, 3-ish years that it's been, maybe 4, but it's been a while since the Dioko came out, but it's still being made. But for me, I like the Divine much, much more than it. Now, I did want to show you the Diablo. Now, the Diablo, we're going to talk about it very briefly. I did get to hear it at CanJam, and I actually did get to hear the Divine. I don't know. I might review the Diablo. This is kind of what it looks like. It has a much bigger graph. And this is what I wrote on my notes, actually. It seems a little bit planar sizzly. But yeah, it was okay. It was one of those things that didn't overly excite me. And this is on my list here. So let's look at a few other things I want to talk about. Now, one of Crinacle's IEMs are on his list. In one of his 3-star IEMs is the 7 Hertz Timeless IEM. And I wonder, it's been a while since I've heard the Timeless, but I wanted to show you the Timeless versus the Divine so you can kind of get an idea of what it's about. Again, planar IEMs have some of the best overall qualities and characteristics. And here we have the Timeless and the Timeless 2. We'll get rid of the Timeless 2 for a second. But if you look at the Timeless 2 versus the Divine, you'll notice that it does have a little bit of that 2K, and a little bit of that 5 and 6K energy here. Let's go ahead and move that over. Apologize. But that's what it's going to kind of look like, is it has a little bit of a different graph here. Is that it has a little bit more energy here and a little bit more energy here. This lower treble, kind of upper mids, is going to be a little bit more tame and smoother. The Timeless has a different bass shelf and a different approach to sound. At least according to this rig. And I just think that's kind of an interesting thing to look at. They do have much different tonalities. And I would say the Timeless is basically like most other planar IEMs. You'll notice these similar peaks. Let's look at some other graphs. Now, the first one we'll look at is the Let's Shure IEMs. Like the Let's Shure S12 Pro, you'll notice that also has that increased energy at like around 2K, increased energy around 4 to 5K. And it just kind of hits that area differently. I like this shift here, and I find this to be an area that makes IEM sound sibilant and poor for me. Now, that was the Pro. We look at the 24, this Let's Shure S12 0024, and you get a little bit of more smoothness, a little bit more or less in that area. To me, it was a slightly better one. And recently, they came out with the S12 Ultra. Now, the S12 Ultra is still a nice set, but I would still consider that to be more of a good planar, but a little bit more of that older tonality. And so they're a little bit of a different thing. What makes the Divine different is that the Divine has these 2 spikes are gone, and it basically becomes its upper energy hits almost perfectly at 3K, which a lot of people prefer. And I think it's really nice in the Divine, and it makes things kind of really pop and be really vibrant. As far as other IEMs go, there are some other IEMs that don't do this region. Like if we look at the RTT10 Pro, it does have a little bit of exaggerated air. Its incisive region right around 8K feels a little bit lacking. But if you're looking at to save money and you're looking at something that like, is there a budget IEM that Jaytis would recommend that does a pretty good job of things? Yeah, the RTT10 Pro is really quite nice. And a lot of people might really, really like that set. I really enjoy that set, and I think it's a well done set. I mean, other sets like the NiceHack F1 Pro, you notice basically the same thing. Mounds of 5 to 6K energy, extended 2K, and they all have basically that similar bass shelf. So whatever Crinacle did with the driver in this, it's pretty remarkable. And it is different. Again, there's a ton of different other planars that we could talk about, but most planars, save maybe the NiceHack F1 Pro, and a few others do basically the same thing. Here we have a few others that I have graphed. Let's get rid of the NiceHack F1 Pro, but let's look at the Timeless 2. Again, this is the one that I got the graph. I didn't end up doing a review of this one, but you know, you'll notice again, similar characteristics of the Divine. You look at the Kiwi Ears Aether, similar characteristics of the Timeless. Some people say they're the same driver. I cannot confirm that, but I have heard rumors of that fact. And so what we get here with the Divine is just a different style of graph, one that has more of this 3K energy, less of this this energy on the sides of the treble and the lower mid treble. So you might, if you're really looking for a bright set with tons of imagination and excitement, and you really liked the Dioko and you were hoping for something with even more and better and more spicy treble, I have to be honest with you that unfortunately this is going to be a different tonality. It's a little bit more tame, but it's really, really nice in my opinion. What else do we want to look at? I just want to look at the Daybreak. Again, this is very similar to the Daybreak. I like the Divine more than the Daybreak. I think there's something to say about the speed and the technicality of it. The Daybreak's something I just kind of thought it was okay. I thought it was a little bit overhyped. It didn't really get me too excited, but it's a fine set. Now, if we really normalize this and really look at this, there are very, very slight differences, but you can tell a lot of similar things. The Daybreak had a little bit more energy from this 300 to 800 region. It can make vocals sound a little bit huskier, a little bit richer. The Daybreak also has a little bit peakier treble here. It also has a little bit more extended air. And part of my theory sometimes when we look at sets is that sometimes if like maybe extended air, maybe extended presence region at this 3K, sometimes you get too many peaks. And these peaks or this extended smoothness can cause things to not sound right. Graphs are a funny thing. We can get a lot from graphs. And I do think for most people, I don't really feel that like the Divine is an upgrade to the Daybreak, but more of a side grade. And I personally would go with the Divine because it's cheaper, because it's planar, because I think the fit is better. But if you had the Daybreak or the Daybreak was cheaper because of, because of sales, I could see how that might be a factor for you as well. All right, 7 hertz Crinacle Divine. Let's rank it up. I mean, bass is solid. It's really strong. It's really good. I was surprised on it. I thought bass was going to be really poor. It's pretty much perfect. It's really rich and detailed. It's not super impressive or deep, but it's nice. It's fun. Its mids are done well. Maybe a little bit shouty on that end, but I think they're done well and they're not sibilant or dull. I like the treble. I like the upper detail. I like the soundstage, the space, the area around you of this headphone, especially at its price, especially compared to other planar driver IEMs. I think is exemplary and special. As far as like how does this compare to other IEMs, it's my favorite planar. If you want to look down here, you can see by brand. It's my favorite 7 hertz. Although I do feel the 7 hertz Ultra, Ilu Ultra is very nice. Now I am giving this an S- rating, and I do feel this is one of the better planar sets. I don't think it invalidates something like the Let's Shure S12 Ultra because that does come with better accessories. It does come with the USB-B DAC. It does have a really nice build quality and cable. And it's just an all-around nice package for people that have that same sort of a tonality. And I think that's something to consider if you were a fan of the Let's Shure S12 Ultra. But I do feel that the Crinacle Divine is something special and is something in a different direction that makes a compelling argument as one of the better and best IEMs at this price. This is part of my ranking sheet. I call it my 5-star IEMs. The IEMs that we're trying to go for a rating under 3%. And anytime we get above 3%, we'll remove some of them down here. But right now, this is all that we have. We just have 11 out of the 444 IEMs or so that I've reviewed that I think are truly worthy of a price and a sound quality and just all around a really great IEM. I really feel this is a good one, and it gets a full-blown recommendation from me. So in conclusion, I think this is a great IEM. Who should buy this? Planar lovers. I think people that really like planar IEMs should really try this. Again, this is not for bass heads. There is the more bass head version of this, but I do feel this is balanced enough for most people, even for people that are like, a lot of my friends and the people in the community think that I'm a full-blown bass head. And part of me is surprised that they didn't send the Diablo to me instead of this one. I will say that the bass is extremely satisfying and very impressive. So maybe this isn't for bass heads. This is more of a little bit of a treble headset and those that like really great air and detail. And I will say that I find this IEM worthy of being like a high-end style IEM. Like The Dioko, I kind of laughed when people talked about it. There's a lot of hype on that, like LTT Tech, and a lot of people talk, oh yeah, the Dioko is so great. But you could tell the excitement in a lot of audiophiles that like the people I trust, and they talk about it and mention it and like, oh yeah, the Dioko, and they're like, ooh, they kind of back off. A lot of people are sensitive to that upper region, and if you're not sure if you are or not, I would try this versus the Dioko and see how that does for you. For me, this is really special. It's really nice. It hits my tonality perfectly, and it's also not boring or dull. Like, it just does a good way of being interesting, engaging, not sibilant, and cohesive at the same time. This is a great IM. They've done a great job with this. Does it have maybe some weird quirks with kind of a chunky cable? Yeah. I mean, maybe you could talk about accessories, but I think accessories are pretty good overall. I used the cable on this IM, and then I found it to work for me well. I think this is one of those sets where, like, if you want to gift somebody a good IM, this would also be good for you. If you're a high roller and you're looking for a gift to give to maybe a friend, I think this is a good set. It's not super expensive. It's a reasonable price. It's pretty. It looks good. And it has a nice, appealing, overall, great quality sound that I think most people are going to like. Again, this gets a full, wholehearted recommendation. I really like this IM, and I fully recommend this IM, especially to people that are interested in it. Thanks for watching my video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Have a great day. Bye-bye for now.
Go!
Go!
Go on with you!